What if the key to peace and purpose was already inside you? Think Like a Monk shows you how to silence the noise, master your mind, and live with clarity every single day. You're listening to Beyond the Cover, where books become a journey of transformation. We live in a world where noise never stops. Notifications, expectations, comparisons, judgments, they follow us everywhere. We are taught to chase titles, possessions, and recognition, believing that these things will bring happiness. But deep down, we know the truth. The louder the world becomes, the quieter our inner voice grows. And when we lose that inner voice, we lose ourselves. To think like a monk is to reclaim that voice. It is to silence the noise, detach from the chaos, and connect with the calm that already exists inside you. Thinking like a monk does not mean you have to shave your head, sit in a temple, or renounce the world. It means you learn to train your mind to stop being your enemy and start becoming your greatest ally. The mind can either imprison you or set you free. The difference is in how you choose to guide it. Monks spend years mastering their thoughts, but you don't need to disappear from the world to do the same. You can begin right here, right now, by choosing a new way of thinking. Ask yourself, how much of your life is built on what others expect of you? How many choices have you made just to satisfy the opinions of society, your family, or strangers who don't even know your heart? You were not born to fulfill someone else's idea of who you should be. You were born with a unique gift, a unique energy, and a unique path. To think like a monk is to peel away the layers of expectations until what remains is your true self, unshaken, unbothered, unstoppable. The first step is letting go. Let go of comparison, because every time you compare, you steal joy from your own journey. Let go of judgment, because the negativity you throw at others will always return to poison your own mind. Let go of fear, because fear is just imagination twisted against you. Fear exists in the future, not in the present. Right now, in this very moment, you are safe. Right now, you are capable. Right now, you are stronger than your doubts. When you train your mind to release what does not serve you, you create space for growth. And in that space, something powerful awakens. Purpose, clarity, direction. Monks live with discipline not to restrict life, but to free it. A routine built with intention becomes a foundation for greatness. When you wake up with gratitude, when you breathe before you react, when you reflect before you speak, you step into a life that is designed not just to live by accident. And you do not need to be extraordinary to begin. You do not need to be perfect. All you need is the willingness to take back control of your mind. Think of your mind like a garden. If you do not tend to it, weeds of negativity will grow automatically. But if you plant seeds of gratitude, discipline, and kindness, the garden will bloom with beauty. Every thought you water will grow. Every thought you starve will wither. The question is, which thoughts are you feeding today? When you pause for a moment and look within, you realize that your mind is constantly speaking to you. It tells you what you can do, what you can't do, what you should fear, and what you should chase. But most of these voices are not your own. They are echoes of your upbringing, your culture, your environment, and the judgments you absorbed over the years. To think like a monk is to separate the noise from the truth. It is to strip away the borrowed voices until you find the voice that belongs to you. That voice is calm, steady, and filled with clarity. Clarity is power. Without clarity, we chase everything and achieve nothing. With clarity, even a single step has meaning. Monks live with clarity because they constantly reflect. They ask themselves, does this action bring me closer to my purpose or take me further away? Imagine living your life guided by that one question. How many distractions would you let go of? How much energy would you save? How much peace would you gain? Every single day, we are faced with choices. Some choices move us closer to who we want to become. Some choices move us further away. The challenge is not that we lack opportunity. The challenge is that we lack focus. A monk's strength is not in avoiding the world, but in mastering focus within it. When you train yourself to focus on what truly matters, your distractions lose power, and your purpose gains momentum. Purpose is not something you find one day. It is something you build every day. It is the combination of your passion, your skills, and your service to others. Ask yourself, what do I love to do? What am I good at? How can this serve people around me? Where these three questions meet, you will find your dharma, your reason for being. And when you live in alignment with that dharma, even the simplest tasks become meaningful. Work is no longer a burden. It becomes a contribution. Success is no longer measured by wealth alone. It is measured by impact. But purpose requires discipline. Without discipline, passion burns out and talent goes to waste. Monks are disciplined not because they enjoy restriction, but because discipline is freedom. It is the structure that protects your energy, the order that keeps your mind clear. Discipline in your morning, discipline in your habits, discipline in your thoughts. These are not chains, they are keys. They unlock the door to consistency, and consistency is the mother of transformation. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation comes and goes like the wind, but discipline anchors you to the ground. Even on days you don't feel like showing up, discipline carries you forward. And every step you take in discipline strengthens your mind until the things that once felt impossible become natural. And yet, even discipline must be balanced with compassion. Thinking like a monk is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about being aware, being patient, being kind to your own journey. You are not in competition with anyone. You are not racing against someone else's timeline. The only race is with yourself. Every day, the question is simple. Am I moving closer to my higher self? Or am I slipping back into my old self? Progress is not measured by leaps and bounds. It is measured by the direction of your steps. You will stumble. You will make mistakes. You will feel lost at times. But monks remind us that falling is not failure. Refusing to rise again is failure. Every setback is a lesson disguised as pain. Every challenge is a test of your resilience. And resilience is not built in comfort. It is built in discomfort. That is why monks train the mind to embrace discomfort, to sit with it, to learn from it, instead of running away. Because what you run from only grows stronger, but what you face loses power. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Yet most people treat it as an afterthought. We often wait for something extraordinary to happen before we feel grateful. But monks know that gratitude is not about waiting for miracles. It is about seeing the miracle in the ordinary. The breath you take right now, the food you ate today, the people who care about you. These are not small things. They are life itself. Gratitude transforms your perspective. Because when you focus on what you have, what you lack loses its grip on your mind. If you want to change your state instantly, practice gratitude. Think of 3 things right now that you are truly grateful for. Feel the weight of those blessings in your heart. Gratitude does not just change your mind. It rewires your entire nervous system. Studies prove that a grateful heart experiences less stress, less anxiety, and more joy. But monks didn't need science to tell them this. They knew from experience that when you live with gratitude, you live with abundance. And gratitude naturally leads to service. Service is not something you do when it is convenient. Service is a way of life. When monks serve, they don't ask, "What will I get in return?" They ask, "How can I contribute?" Imagine living with that mindset. Imagine a world where every person focused less on what they could take and more on what they could give. Service takes you beyond yourself. It reminds you that you are part of something greater, that your life has meaning not just in what you achieve, but in how you impact others. Service does not need to be grand. You don't have to build a school or feed 1,000 mouths. Sometimes service is as simple as a kind word, a listening ear, a helping hand. Sometimes it's giving your time, your presence, your attention to someone who needs it. When you live in service, you unlock a deeper form of happiness, one that no amount of wealth or fame can provide. Because joy shared multiplies, and love given always comes back in ways you never expect. And at the heart of service and gratitude lies relationships. The quality of your life is always tied to the quality of your relationships. But most relationships today are built on transactions. I give you this, so you give me that. Monks see relationships differently. They see them as opportunities to give without expectation. True love, true friendship, true connection is not about keeping score. It is about pouring into someone else without fear of being empty. Because when love is real, the more you give, the more you feel. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do I bring into my relationships? Am I constantly demanding, or am I contributing? Am I seeking to be understood more than I seek to understand? To think like a monk in relationships is to practice empathy, patience, and forgiveness. People will hurt you. People will misunderstand you. But holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness is not about them. It is about freeing yourself. And remember, the relationship you have with others will always reflect the relationship you have with yourself. If you are harsh on yourself, you will be harsh on others. If you are impatient with yourself, you will be impatient with others. That is why monks begin with self-love, not selfishness, but acceptance, compassion, and care for their own being. When you fill your own cup with peace, it naturally overflows into every relationship around you. So ask yourself, am I living with gratitude, or am I always chasing more? Am I living in service, or am I consumed with myself? Am I building relationships with love, or am I keeping them shallow with conditions? The answers to these questions determine the depth of your fulfillment. Because in the end, the measure of a life well lived is not how much you collected, but how much you gave, how deeply you loved, and how peacefully you lived. The final step in thinking like a monk is learning the art of detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you give up your dreams or abandon your goals. Detachment means you are no longer controlled by them. You give your best effort, you pour in your energy, but you are not defined by the outcome. When you detach from results, you free yourself from fear and disappointment. You begin to enjoy the process, the growth, the journey itself. Most people live as if life is a race, running from one milestone to the next, always looking ahead, never stopping to breathe. But monks live with presence. They understand that the only moment you can truly live is this one. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. When you anchor yourself in the present, your worries about the future dissolve, your regrets about the past fade, and you discover the peace that has always been within you. Peace is not found in silence outside. It is found in silence inside. You can be surrounded by chaos, but still carry calmness in your heart. That is the gift of a monk's mind. When you no longer allow the world to control your emotions, you become unshakable. And when you are unshakable, you can face challenges with courage. You can pursue your purpose with clarity, and you can love without fear loss. But here is the truth. This life is short. No matter how much time we believe we have, it is always less than we think. And because of that, every day matters. Every choice matters. Every thought matters. The question is, how will you live the days you've been given? Will you live in fear, comparison, and distraction, or will you live with gratitude, discipline, and purpose? Will you wait for the world to hand you happiness, or will you create happiness from within? Thinking like a monk is not about escaping life. It is about mastering it. It is about being in the world but not ruled by it. It is about living with clarity when others are lost in confusion, living with compassion when others are trapped in ego, living with peace when others are caught in chaos. It is about choosing to be a light in a world that often feels dark. And you don't have to wait years to begin. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need anyone's permission. All you need is the courage to take one step. Begin today by quieting your mind, by practicing gratitude, by serving someone in need, by forgiving yourself, by forgiving others. Begin today by choosing discipline over distraction, presence over worry, purpose over aimlessness. Every small act of monk, like thinking, is a seed planted in the garden of your mind, and those seeds will grow into a life filled with peace, passion, and meaning. So I ask you as you listen right now, are you ready to live differently? Are you ready to let go of what no longer serves you and step into the strength of who you really are? Are you ready to think like a monk, not tomorrow, not someday, but today? Because the life you seek, the calm you crave, the purpose you long for is already within you. All you need to do is claim it. This is your moment. This is your time. Train your mind. Free your heart. Live with purpose. And when you do, you will not just change your own life. You will inspire others to change theirs. That is the true gift of thinking like a monk. Remember, peace is not found outside. It's built within. Purpose is not something you wait for. It's something you create every single day. And clarity is not given. It's trained by the way you choose to live. This was Think Like a Monk, shared with you by Beyond the Cover. If this message sparked something in you, carry it forward, practice gratitude, embrace discipline, and live with service. Because when you think like a monk, you don't just transform your mind, you transform your entire life.